Make a right-hand turn, but if you keep looking to your right as we pass the greenery here, you'll see a rocket standing in front of our bagging station. That rocket is very important for you to know about because it is identical to the rocket configuration in which Alan Shepard launched in 1961 to become the first American in space. And so this is the rocket configuration that literally launched the United States into human spaceflight. And the rocket itself is the Redstone rocket. The black capsule on top is the Mercury capsule. The red structure on top of the capsule is a launch abort system. I'll say more about a launch abort system a little later in the tour. A guy by the name of Bob Cabana is a 4-time space shuttle astronaut, and he was on the mission that took the very first pieces of the space station into orbit for assembly. He's now the director of the Kennedy Space Center. So he's on our first video, and he will welcome to talk to you as we go through the security.
We'll move forward as we explore beyond our home planet. Not as explorers from any one country, but as explorers from planet Earth. You're visiting the center at a very exciting time. Since the end of the Space Shuttle program, we've been working on groundbreaking missions that are paving the way to the future. We're focused on launching scientific and research satellites, restoring the U.S. capability to launch humans into space from American soil, forging commercial partnerships, modernizing our infrastructure and facilities to support the growing variety of government and commercial activities and missions, and working toward long-term human round trips. The vehicle that will carry Orion is the Space Launch System, or SLS. SLS will be the most powerful rocket in history, but more important, it's designed to be flexible and evolvable in order to meet a wide variety of crew and cargo mission requirements. As I said, you're in for a very special experience today. Enjoy yourself as you get a unique look at NASA and Kennedy Space Center's past historic achievements, an exciting peek at our current innovative activities, and an eye-opening view of our amazing future. Again, welcome to the John F. Kennedy Space Center.
Some of you probably already know this, but the United States space program did not begin right here. It actually began over at the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station, a little bit east of here.
Is where everything comes together before a launch. The Apollo and Space Shuttle vehicles were assembled for flight in the VAB. This cavernous facility contains 4 huge bays where the spacecraft were assembled using massive overhead bridge cranes for highly complex maneuvers. Today, the VAB is being updated to assemble our next human-rated launch vehicle, the Space Launch System, or SLS. The SLS is the most powerful rocket in history and has an evolvable design that ranges from 321 to 384 feet tall, depending on mission requirements. This rocket will someday help NASA to reach its goal of human exploration of Mars. The large tower next to the VAB is the mobile launcher being built for SLS. When completed, it will carry the massive launch vehicle on top of the crawler transporter to pad 39B. You will learn more about the launch of SLS when we get to the launch pad. Adjacent to the VAB is the Launch Control Center, the distinctively shaped 4-story building which houses the launch team. This is where the ground controllers, engineers, and launch director monitor the spacecraft and manage all the activities leading up to launch.
Now we're making a right-hand turn onto Launcher Road. The first thing I'll draw your attention to is on the far right is one of the crawler transporters that NASA uses to move their rockets from the VAB out to the launch pad. That's a distance of a little more than 3 miles. And there are actually 2 of them in use. The other one is actually being used right now, so you might get to see it in action. It's out at Launch Pad 39B. But these were the vehicles that NASA has always used to transport, for example, the space shuttle out to the launch pad. Now, the platform you see ahead on the right with the tower is the mobile launcher being built for SLS. As we said, SLS is that rocket that will eventually propel a crew toward Mars, and it will be topped by the Orion crew capsule. This is the launch platform that's being built for it. The tower is 356 feet high. It houses all the electronics, communication equipment, and hardware necessary to control the rocket, but it also features an elevator and will give the astronauts access to that Orion crew capsule that will be on top of the rocket. So as you can see, it's not in the planning stages any longer. It's in the final stages of construction. And as you can see, this platform is elevated. That will allow the crawler, you saw how that crawler was flat on top, and it'll allow the crawler to move underneath it, pick it up, take it inside the VAB. When this goes inside the VAB, it's going to go inside bay number 3, which is the first door that we will come to as we come around to the east side of the vehicle assembly building. So the crawler will pick up this platform, take it inside that door. They'll set the SLS rocket on it, topped by the Orion crew capsule. Then the crawler will bring the whole thing out onto this rock roadway, take it down to Launch Pad 39B. The rock roadway is what we call the crawler way. It's 7 feet deep and it's got various layers of rock fill. The top 8 to 12 inches is river rock. One of the reasons why they chose that specific rock for this application is because as the crawler moves across this rock and it crushes down under the weight of the crawler, this kind of rock does not produce sparks. I guess that's pretty important if you're transporting the most powerful rocket in history. So the crawler way is about the width of an 8-lane highway, but the crawler takes up the whole thing. It moves very slowly. It takes it between 6 and 8 hours to make that 3-mile trip from here to the launch pad. And if you're interested in fuel economy, it gets a really heartbreaking 32 feet per gallon.
We are now approaching Launch Pad 39A. It was constructed for the Apollo program and is where all 12 moon walkers began their historic journeys. You'll learn more about the Apollo program when you get to the Apollo Saturn V Center. Following the end of the Apollo program, Pad 39A was the site that launched Skylab, the first U.S. space station to orbit the Earth, on May 14, 1973. Skylab provided America's initial experience with long-duration spaceflight.
good view of it here in just a few moments, but as I said, this is that historic spot from which every one of the Apollo moon launches took place. And but this launch pad was modified then for the shuttle program. There have been a few changes made to the launch pad since the shuttle program. But the biggest difference around here is this building that SpaceX has constructed right at the base of the launch pad. This is their horizontal integration facility. This is where they assemble their rockets inside that building horizontally and then move them horizontally up to the top of the launch pad. Now, it's interesting to notice the difference in the way they operate. NASA's facility is 3 miles from the launch pad. They assemble their rockets vertically and even transport them vertically. But when SpaceX started, they just moved right up to the edge of the launch pad and built their facility. I don't mind telling you, when they were ready to launch that Falcon Heavy, I was very concerned for them because I felt like this building was just too close to the blast zone and that it would have to suffer some damage during launch. But apparently, their rocket scientists are smarter than bus drivers. That's inconceivable, right? But the launch went off without a flaw and there was no damage to the building whatsoever. Now the water tower you see standing there holds 300,000 gallons of water. And the pipes that go from there to the launch pad hold another 100,000 gallons of water. So when the shuttle would launch from here, they would flood that launch pad with 400,000 gallons of water. And I would have supposed that that water was for flame suppression. But actually the water served as sound suppression. All that water kept the sound waves from the rocket blast from bouncing back and damaging the shuttle during liftoff. Over to the right, you get a better view of Launch Pad 41. That's where, as I said, the Atlas V rockets will launch. You need to keep that one in mind because that could very possibly be the site of the next astronaut launches from U.S. soil. Boeing is completing work on their Starliner capsule, and it will launch from right there very soon with astronauts on board. Directly in front of us is the Atlantic Ocean, and that's prime real estate for sea turtles right now from May through October. But the Atlantic Ocean is one of the reasons we launch from right here. Launching out over the water, we don't endanger any inhabiting areas. So as I've already said, SpaceX launched their Falcon Heavy from right here. The Falcon Heavy was 3 Falcon 9s put together. And so that produced a really powerful rocket blast, over 5 million pounds of thrust. And if you'll remember, Elon Musk launched his Tesla Roadster on that mission, and so that car is somewhere between here and Mars right now. Just ahead, here's a spot that's pretty good for pictures. I'll stop for a couple of seconds for you.
His preparation for the future is obvious, as at Launch Pad 39B. Built as an identical pad to 39A for the Apollo Saturn V rocket, Pad B was also updated for the Space Shuttle program. 53 shuttle missions launched from this pad, including 12 missions to help construct or resupply the space station. Today, the pad is being modified for the Space Launch System, or SLS. It will be used for NASA's deep space missions.
So just think about it. You saw the vehicle assembly building where it all comes together. You've seen the mobile launch platform. You've seen the very crawler that's going to bring it out here. This is the crawler way, which is the route that it'll take. There's the launch pad. I mean, in 2020, you guys will be watching this on television and you'll say, man, I saw all that in person. And at that moment, you will fondly remember the kindly old tour guide. Gary told you all about it.
We explore to gain knowledge, to push the boundaries of possibility, and to reveal the unknown.
We seek to discover, find answers here on Earth and in space.
Was Mars once an Earth-like planet with water and an atmosphere? What happened? Can the same thing happen here on Earth?
What about asteroids? Is there something we can do to prevent a big one from colliding with Earth?
We can go to Mars in our lifetime and answer some of humanity's fundamental questions about life beyond Earth. Robots are doing great work exploring our solar system, but eventually, we want to be able to put a person on the ground. Research and technology development.
The first cruise flight of Orion and the Space Launch System will be a flight around the moon during Exploration Mission 2. A crew of astronauts will launch on SLS, fly several orbits around the Earth, then perform a translunar injection, which will send them on a path from Earth orbit towards the moon.
Once the crew gets near the moon, Orion will pass within 60 miles of the surface, and from there, Orion can insert into a high lunar orbit, several thousand miles from the surface. The tools, the knowledge, and the experience that we have at our disposal today come from nearly 50 years of space exploration and ultimately benefit lives here on Earth.
Who knows what will come out of the scientific knowledge, discovery, and economic opportunities that result from deep space exploration?
We've just hit the tip of the iceberg in terms of human exploration. Now we need to explore deep space. To me, that's the goal, to expand humanity's presence beyond the Earth.
Exploring beyond has a deeper purpose, and it is a bolder mission than anything we've ever done before.
I believe that people still look to NASA and the United States for leadership in space. It takes courage and resolve and commitment. And when we leave Earth to explore our solar system, it will not be as any one nation or culture, but as citizens of Earth for all of humanity.
Well, you get another look at the crawler transporter, and a little bit, it's completely obscured as a matter of fact, but to the left of the VAB, when we pass the crawler, you'll see the shorter building with the dark windows. That is the Launch Control Center, or the LCC. That's where all the technicians come together to control the launch of whatever vehicle they're launching. They control that until the launch vehicle clears the tower. Then they hand control over to the Johnson Space Center, Houston, Texas. Houston then controls the mission until it's complete. So the Kennedy Space Center is launch control. Houston is mission control. Over to the left there you see a group of smaller buildings. And that's the press site where the news media gathers to broadcast the launches. To the left of those buildings, you see an American flag on the flagpole, and below that flag is a blue box. That's the official countdown clock. The one that you see on those televised broadcasts, counting down the minutes and seconds to liftoff. say more about a launch abort system. So here it is. Right up here on the right, lying on this red trailer, is a launch abort system for Orion. That will attach to the top of the crew capsule, and if there should be a problem or an emergency during launch, it can lift the capsule off and set it down in the ocean and hopefully save the lives of the astronauts. Then to the left of that, the structure lying there on the pavement is an orbiter access arm from the shuttle program. That would attach to the tower, and it would reach over to the shuttle, and then the astronauts could use that as a walkway to go over and board the space shuttle. That's an armored escape vehicle. And if you look down the street to your right, you see a building with a picture on the front of it. The building is OPF number 3. Boeing has leased all 3 of the OPFs for their purpose, but in that one they're building the Starliner capsule, or CST-100. That's the one that I was telling you about earlier that will launch very soon from Launch Pad 41 at Cape Canaveral with astronauts on board, going to the International Space Station. Ever since the end of the shuttle program, the United States has relied on Russia to transport our astronauts to the ISS. But hopefully very soon we will be launching astronauts from U.S. soil once again. The building where the CST-100 or Starliner capsule is being built is OPF number 3. These are the other 2 OPFs, these cubicle buildings with the blue doors. These are OPF-1 and OPF-2. OPF stands for Orbiter Processing Facility. And these were the high-tech hangars where the shuttle would be towed after it was completed a mission. They would bring it into one of these buildings where they would go over it thoroughly, clean it, process it, and repair it before taking it back to the VAB for its next mission. To leave, you will exit through the gift shop, and there will be buses to take you back to the visitor center. So, again, my name is Gary. It has truly been a pleasure to have you with me on the tour. I hope you found it interesting and hopefully a little enjoyable. I hope you have a good rest of your day here at the Kennedy Station. Give me just a couple of seconds to open things up.